should have never read the Nameless Grimoire. It was the biggest mistake of my life. Even thinking about it now sends chills down my spine. Like every other day, I went to the library that morning. The smell of old paper filled the air, a comforting scent I had always loved. I greeted the librarian, Susan, a friendly, middle-aged woman who had seen me come here every day for years. "Good morning, Alex," she smiled. "Research again?" I nodded, my eyes scanning the rows of books. I was looking for something related to historical occult practices for my thesis. As I trailed my fingers along the spines of the books, I felt an unnatural chill. Then I saw it. An old, black, dust-covered book sitting on the highest shelf in the darkest corner. Something about it drew me in. My hands trembled as I reached for it, but the moment my fingers touched the cover, a sharp jolt ran through me, like an electric shock. A voice inside whispered that I should leave it alone. I ignored the feeling. It was just an old book, right? Instead, I picked up a different book for my research and left. That night, after dinner, when I tried to sleep, I had a strange dream. I saw the Nameless Grimoire beside my bed, its pages flipping on their own. Dark, shadowy figures surrounded it, whispering in a language I couldn't understand. Then, a faint, sinister laugh echoed in my ears. I woke up drenched in sweat. My clock read 11 a.m. I had never overslept in my life. The dream haunted me all morning. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. Against my better judgment, I returned to the library and checked out the Nameless Grimoire. As soon as I reached home, I opened it, but the text was in an ancient language I didn't recognize. My heart pounded as I flipped through the pages. Then, on page 278, I saw something in English. Only 7 days left. What did it mean? 7 days for what? A sudden gust of wind blew through my room, despite my windows being closed. The lights flickered. My stomach twisted in unease. That night, I dreamt again. This time I saw my sister, Emily. She was running in the dark, screaming my name. Then she vanished into the abyss. The next morning, it happened. Emily was found dead in her room. The police ruled it an accident, but I knew it wasn't. Shaking, I checked page 278 again. Only 6 days left. I tried burning the Nameless Grimoire. I watched the flames consume it. But the next morning, it was back on my table, untouched. My grandmother, Margaret, was old but still strong. That morning, she fell from the terrace of our house. There was no explanation for how she lost her balance. No one believed me when I said it was because of the Nameless Grimoire. I checked the page again. Only 5 days left. That night, I felt a presence in my room. The darkness was heavier than usual. Then, I heard a whisper. Someone calling my name. I turned around, but there was no one there. I was terrified. But it was just the beginning. My mother was found dead at exactly 1 a.m. Her throat was slit. No forced entry, no evidence. I knew the Nameless Grimoire was responsible. I told my father, and he called Father Thomas, a priest. The moment Father Thomas saw the Nameless Grimoire, his face turned pale. "This book is cursed," he whispered. He sprinkled holy water and started chanting prayers. Then, everything went wrong. A powerful wind swept through the house. The doors slammed shut. The lights flickered violently. Father Thomas screamed as his body lifted into the air, his eyes turning completely white. Strange, inhuman sounds escaped his mouth. He dropped to the floor, lifeless. Only 4 days left. That evening, my father sat in his chair, silent and lost. He hadn't spoken a word since my mother's death. He stared blankly at the wall, as if he could see something I couldn't. "I can hear them, Alex," he whispered. "They're waiting." His breathing turned shallow. His hands gripped his chest. I rushed to him, shouting his name, but his eyes rolled back. His mouth opened in a silent scream, and he collapsed. No medical explanation, no prior health issues. He was just gone. I ran to the library and asked Susan about the Nameless Grimoire's origin. Her face filled with confusion. "We don't have any book like that in our collection." I rushed home. Page 278 had changed. Only 3 days left. I submerged the Nameless Grimoire in water, thinking it would be destroyed. But when I woke up, it was back in my hands, completely dry. That night, I received a frantic call from Jake. His voice was shaking. "Alex, I think something is watching me." I grabbed my keys and rushed to his house, but as soon as I arrived, I saw an ambulance outside. Jake was dead. His body was found in a dark alley, his face frozen in horror, his fingers clutching at his own throat, as if he had tried to stop something from suffocating him. Strangely, none of the security cameras were working at the time. I felt my world crumble. My last friend was gone. I checked the Nameless Grimoire once again. This time, there was nothing written, but I could feel it. It was waiting for me. And today, I am alone. There's only one name left. Mine. I thought I was alone, but I was wrong. The whispers grew louder. The darkness moved unnaturally. The walls seemed to breathe. My room's door slammed shut, and the lights flickered uncontrollably. A faint laughter echoed. The same laughter from my dreams. The Nameless Grimoire was waiting. I screamed. What did it want? How could I escape? I knew what I had to do. I ran to the fireplace, threw the Nameless Grimoire into the flames, and watched it burn. But as the fire died, it was there again, waiting. I don't know what will happen next. But if you find this journal, remember one thing. Never open the Nameless Grimoire. Never read its words, because once you do, it won't let you go. What did I do with the Nameless Grimoire? Did I survive? Or did it complete its work? Find out in part 2.